Hey, this is the Chair Guy. Today I'm just doing an extended version of the Visual Triads video for people who found it confusing. Please share this a lot, particularly on TikTok and Instagram, because the algorithm is not going to pick it up as much because it's a longer video. So just to keep things a little simpler today, we're just going to look at this as a single key shape, the G major key shape. In other words, all of these are notes from the G major scale. So if we slid this whole entire shape down a fret, it would be G sharp, then A sharp, etc. It would be every single key that you could possibly have on the guitar. And the idea is to try and bring context to what appears to be a giant chunk of random notes. So what I've done here is I've put letters for all of those dots. Now you have all the letters for the G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, and F sharp. Now that's the lower F sharp, but you can easily just go to the next chair to get the next F sharp, because all of these chairs are actually in the same position as related to each other. Notice that this chair, the top of the chair, is right next to the bottom of this chair, and this next chair would actually be right next to the bottom of this chair. It's just getting slid down a single fret because it's crossing the B string. But I want you to look at these all as being identical shapes, and you're just having to warp them a little when they cross the B string. Like this chair right here, where the front leg just kind of gets slid down a single fret. Once you get this layout burned into your head, then you know everything you need to know about any given major scale, in this case G, just by sliding another shape in your head over this shape. In this case, we're going to use the major triad shape. This is just a regular chair where I've just highlighted the first, third, and fifth. So if I slide this over the G major extended chair, I get the triad for G major. In this case, I know that it's G, B, and D. Now when I'm playing, I'm not thinking G, B, D. I'm just thinking, okay, this is my G and my triad is going to be this shape from G. And the same thing will work for C. If I slide over to C, I know that my triad is going to be these three notes. In this case, it's C, E, and I'm going into the next chair to get the G, but I'm not necessarily even having to think about the next chair. I just know that this shape is going to give me the triad for this note. Same thing for D. With D, I'm actually having to go into three chairs. I'm starting with the D in this chair, but then I have to go to the A of this chair to get the fifth, and the F sharp here in this chair to get the third. Again, I'm not necessarily thinking about these two chairs. I just know that I'm sliding over to my D and I'm getting my triad for D. And minor works the exact same way. These three notes are always going to be your minor chords. So if we take a minor triad shape, which is again just a regular chair, I've just highlighted the first, third, and fifth of a minor scale, and I put it over this extended scale, I get the triad for E minor. So E, G, and B. Now obviously these are the lower G and B, so we have to go into that next chair to get what I would call a normal triad. In other words, if you're going in order E, G, and B, you go into this next chair, and so the shape is a little more like this, E, G, B, into the next chair. So this will work on all of the other notes as well. I can slide over to the B, and I can see that the triad for B is going to be D and B, D, and F sharp, and I'm just having to go into one extra chair here. If I slide up to the A, then I know that the triad for A is going to be A, C, and E. Now keep in mind, I'm not necessarily thinking of all of those notes. I'm just knowing that when I'm playing over the E minor chord, I play using this shape to get the triad. B, I use this shape to get the triad. I'm not necessarily thinking about this whole chair down here or what notes these are. This is just telling me the triads, and again the same for A. Now because E minor is the relative minor for G, this chair is actually telling you everything about both G and E minor. So all of these chords and all of the triads for all of these notes are going to work both for E minor and for G. Also, in case you're wondering, if you wanted to be in G minor instead of G major, you would simply take this shape right here, and you would just put G in the minor position, and then you would all know all the exact same stuff about G minor instead of G major. So in closing, this is a perfect example of why I say I don't necessarily think about notes themselves while I'm playing, because once I know I'm playing in G major, I know that these three notes are going to be major chords, these three notes are going to be minor chords, so I can outline those chords just by placing this shape on G, on C, on D, and of course the same for minor. And the better I get at playing by ear, I'm not even thinking I'm playing over a G chord, a C chord, a D chord. I just know, okay, I'm playing over this sound now, this sound now, this sound now. And this is just really a natural progression of listening and playing and learning to play more instinctively.